right. So our next panel, we're going to be talking about creators, crypto creator economy. So we have three people joining us. We have Lori, Krystal, and Bradley coming on screen. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll go in order. Why don't you introduce yourself briefly? Lori first, then Krystal, then Bradley.
Hi, I'm Lori. I work in strategy and as chief of staff for NFT OASIS, which is a metaverse and NFT platform. I started my career in crypto back in 2017 doing VC and investments. And so generally have come from traditional finance, JP Morgan, to investing, and now I'm building in the space at the intersection of NFTs and metaverse.
Awesome. Krystal.
Awesome. Good to see you or meet you, Lori. Glad to hear you have a traditional finance background too. So I'm Krystal Gracier. I'm the CFO and co-founder of Raiinmaker. We are a crypto platform where we bridge Web 2 social media with Web 3. Effectively, we pay content creators for the value that they create on social media right now. My past experience, though, I was previously at Morgan Stanley and their tech investment banking team. I jumped headfirst into crypto 7 months ago. However, I've been following the space back since 2017 during the ICO boom. And I'm happy to be here. The crypto or the creator economy is a great space to be in. And there's a lot of movement and a lot of traction and a lot that's evolving right now.
Awesome. So explain how you spell Raiinmaker.
So Raiinmaker is with two I's, and the two I's symbolize peer-to-peer connection. And that's where, since we're based on social media, that's where all of the value is created right now.
Nice story. Okay, Bradley.
Hey guys, really great to be here. My name's Bradley Miles. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Roll. Roll's building a social token infrastructure for the internet. So we're a platform and infrastructure that allows anyone to create their own currency. Very similar to Stripe or PayPal. We then plug that currency into traditional systems like Twitter, Discord, and Twitch, but also into DeFi. So we see a world in which each creator has their own market and trading volume and this interoperability that can exist across smart contract-based platforms and platforms everyone uses today.
Awesome, great. Well, let's start out with just one of you explaining maybe what this means for the creator, where we are in, the context of time in terms of, past creator economy versus where we are now, or what opportunity represents. So, Krystal, Lori, maybe one of you two. And from a, given your financial background and your sort of traditional view, maybe Lori, why don't you start, and then Krystal, you can add on.
Sure. So this, technology moves in general cycles, right? Your technology is generally opening up a new blue ocean to what may be traditional roles and traditional skill sets that a group of people will have access to, but it just facilitates the scale at a cheaper cost. So what we have seen previously is, YouTube, Facebook, all of these types of creator platforms facilitating, access and economic benefit from an individual perspective at scale, which originally started with a mass of that spread going to the creator. But as scale has evolved, that spread getting smaller and smaller. And so, as with all technology, we're going to see this next cycle with the NFTs, which is a new blue ocean that's expanding access to creators in a brand new way, allowing them to get a larger spread. But what that means is there's a smaller blue ocean, and as that scales, we may see a similar effort. So it's generally a race to the bottom as we see new technologies, but where we are in this moment in time that I'm primarily really excited about is that given this new blue ocean that's opening, it is also allowing, NFTs to emerge as this new potential oracle that connects all utility to what the creator is effectively doing. So it's, continuing to evolve the connection to how the creator is building for our world.
Great, Chris. Thank you. Krystal, do you want to add on to that in terms of the peer-to-peer aspect and the context of, again, what it provides for the creator now?
Yeah, absolutely. And Lori, I agree with you 100%, particularly on the NFT front. Look, there's 4.6 billion people who are on social media, and to put that into context, though, there's only about 7.6 billion people there are only 7.6 billion people in the world. So there's a large percentage of people who are on social media now. With that said, though, in terms of the content that we're creating online, there's value there. And that value right now is being captured and siphoned by all of these platforms, these Web 2 social media platforms, and it's being used to create or to further benefit their algorithms and add to their pool of data, and then in turn extract the value and market to you through advertising or through adjusting your feed, etc. Right now with Web3, though, you see a lot of these startups that are coming through that are trying to figure out and solve the problem of how do we now equitably distribute the value that's created online through content creation. And that doesn't mean just people who are creating, professional content. That means everybody who's creating threads on Twitter that has value with people, or in terms of educational content, right? There's a number of people that we follow, that we watch, or that we're tracking on Twitter, right? And we really appreciate their posts. That's value that they're creating for the community and educational content, and they should be paid fairly with the value that they create. And so what you're seeing right now in the space is that there are a lot of people trying to unpack and redefine what it means to create content online and to be fairly compensated for it. And so right now with Web3, it's a space that I would say is changing the game. And you have a lot of these big players, the Facebooks, the TikTok, or Meta, not the Facebooks, and the LinkedIn's of the world, who are trying to also figure out whether or not they should jump into the space as well. And so they're putting a lot of capital towards it, but it's a rat race, to be honest, and we're all trying to figure it out together.
Okay, so let's define maybe a creator, or let's make it personal. So maybe all three of you can tell a story about a particular creator that you've come across, or you've helped or coached, or and what this opportunity has meant for them. So Bradley, why don't you start? If you have any creator in mind that we can personalize and let people know what we mean when we're talking about creators.
Yeah, so at Roll, we're around 500 creators in, and so we think of creators at Roll as individuals or groups or communities that have their own token. So the token we issue is a ERC20 token. It's different than the ERC 721 or 1155 standard for NFTs, and it provides a lot of possibilities. So we're entering a world in which communities are starting to think about DAOs and a lot of different new forms of community, and the way to coordinate community is largely going to be around these types of tokens, ERC20 tokens. And so the largest creator on Roll is named Whale Shark. And Whale Shark, for those deep in the NFT space, is known as someone that has a massive collection of NFTs. He was kind of just starting out in 2019, and he got a little bigger. And we thought of a way to really coordinate his community and the value that he's kind of bringing to the space through his own token called Whale. And so what we did is we created a standard where there's 10 million whale that exist in the world. We can't mint more. He can't mint more. And we started really thinking about how to distribute this, to the community, and ways to potentially, represent in other ways the value of the network he's building through NFTs and whatnot. And then very quickly, I'll just do this through some links. We ended up building, and this is now like products that we're building out at Roll. We actually ended up building out a Uniswap pool for this creator. And so this is a large representation of like how we see the future. So this is a creator with their own currency that's plugged into DeFi. And so I don't know if people can see that. It's a private chat, but yeah. So there's around a few $1 million of liquidity in that pool, and it's a new way to represent markets and sort of this new creator economy. And so this is something that we're doing for hundreds and soon thousands of creators. So anyone that you could, imagine with a community, Roll is sort of a infrastructure that allows them to form a market. And trading volume. This token actually just got listed on KuCoin the other day, and Huobi as well. So when you start to think about people in the creator economy and currencies, it's a field that everyone can kind of play in, from exchanges to platforms to just everyday fans and audience members.
Awesome, Lori. Thank you for putting that in the comment section. Appreciate that, Bradley's link. Krystal, do you have a story about any particular creator in mind that their world is transformed with the opportunities they've gotten?
Well, first, I want to piggyback on what Bradley Miles was just talking about, though, because that's what we're working on with Raiinmaker, is that we have our own token. We've actually been approved by Huobi recently. We're working on getting approval from KuCoin in order for us to list. But with our token, effectively, if you post a social through our app, you get paid in crypto for the value that you create through our proof of influence algorithm, where we capture all of the value that you create through your likes, your shares, and also the reshares. So that entire network and web effect. Regarding your question, though, for a specific content creator, there really isn't a specific content creator that I have in mind, because there are a lot of creators that I follow currently, and they influence my life in multiple different ways, whether it be music, whether it be blockchain, whether it be my own personal passion with finance and economics. Creators are everywhere. And I think that's the biggest thing to really think about in terms of this space, that everyone is a creator. You can be a nano or a micro creator, and you can also be a macro creator, but everybody has value and they're contributing to this community as a whole. So
great. We'll come back to you on that, because the next question will be how to get started in the space. But Lori, just to wrap up, any stories of creators that you've come across that have taken advantage of Web3?
Yes. Actually, we have onboarded a ton of creators onto our metaverse platform. And let me see if I can actually share my screen to show you guys what one of the creators were that we onboarded. So as I'm pulling this up, I'll give you some backstory. So this person that I'm going to be mentioning, Tony Robbins, we all know him as an individual who basically is able to, I guess I'm not able to.
Yeah, I'm not sure if our backstage team has it prepped. So can you just walk us through it?
Yeah, I'll walk you guys through that. So Tony Robbins is one of our investors and also a creator in the space. We all know him as an individual who has a massive presence via his books, but also his conferences where he'd really empower personal development. Now, when COVID hit, he was looking for reinvention. How would he connect to the masses of individuals while maintaining his presence and connecting to his group? So, us as a metaverse platform built out his world and supported his Platinum Club, which is a group of roughly 100 individuals paying $100K every year just to have direct access to Tony Robbins and his teachings. And so, that's one of many different creators, but basically a lot of the creators that we're tapping are those that are looking to connect to a digital experience from a global fashion. And the best creators that we've been seeing a lot of connection to are those that have like a really engaged community that are looking to connect to it globally. So Tony Robbins is one, Imogen Heap, South Korea government, or it's just a mass of different creators. But yeah, Tony Robbins is one.
Awesome. So I think we'd all love to see demos or examples, and I'm sorry that we're not able to share that, because all three of you have incredible platforms, and I think next time we have you back, we'll make sure we slot enough time for you to kind of walk us through examples. But let's talk, Krystal. Let's go back to you, and then Bradley, we'll go to you in terms of how do creators get started. In terms of whether joining your platforms. I'm so-and-so is a creator and they want to get started in this world. How do they do so? Krystal.
Yeah. So with regards to Raiinmaker, you can download the app on iOS, or you can download it through Google Play Store. and it's quite simple. You submit your email, create a user profile. We're working on also an NFT side where you'll have your own unique PFP that's able to level up to as you use the app. But then once you are logged into the app, it's able to seamlessly sync with your social media accounts that you're already logged into through your mobile device. So all you do is you click on whatever social platform that you want to post on through our app, and you post to social. It's that simple. And what ends up happening immediately after is you do receive some coin, some of our native token, which is called Coin with 2 eyes, similar to Raiinmaker for the peer-to-peer connection. But what we also do is we do B2B campaigns. So for a lot of these NFT projects or crypto or Web3 projects, we partner with them, and they'll go ahead and they'll post a campaign. And if you as a community member, say you're part of, for example, we're working with Orca DAO right now. You're a community member of Orca DAO and you want to share their campaign, you can share it to social without going through the Raiinmaker app, but you won't be compensated for it. However, Orca DAO has staked about $10,000 in crypto on our app, where you as a community member can go post their campaign to your socials to go promote the community that you love and get paid for the influence that you create. So it's really quite simple. We've adjusted the UI UX design for it to be as seamless as possible. The recent launch, we just updated the app back in January with a few further updates and bug fixes. But we've tried to make it as easy for really anybody to come jump in. You don't need to be a crypto native to use the app and enjoy the experience. So
awesome. Great. Bradley, I'm a creator. How do I get started?
Hope you're on mute, Bradley.
Oh, sorry, guys. Really quickly, you could just really go to tryroll.com. Go ahead and just click, mint a social token. And from there, you kind of just fill out a quick form and talk to our team. And, you could have a token live, and there's a whole host of role features. I'll probably drop some tokens in the chat that people can claim, like at the end of the conference. But that's pretty much how to start. And we've helped a lot of people from, I think one of the most like Web 2 famous creators, Terry Crews. But there's a lot of YouTubers and just like people that are kind of really thinking about this, just jumping in and creating a token. So there's just a whole pipeline of things you can do and ways to get started with a token.
Awesome, great. So let's talk about the economics involved in terms of how the revenue and the flows, and then after that we'll talk about maybe the marketing, how people get recognized or noted, or what you all bring to the table in terms of helping people, creators get known. So anyone want to address, sort of the economic flow of Lori, Krystal, you touched on that a bit. Do you want to dive in a little bit more about that, or just repeat, again, how the token works?
Well, could you clarify what you mean by economic flow?
Oh, just how the creators receive, or people in the community receive value for the things that they bring to the community.
Right. So, I would say it's subjective, but it's not in its own way. Value can be subjective, right? In terms of social media and the content that you create, what is the perceived value of the content that you create through social? Right now, it's the tangible items are likes, shares, reshares. And then also too, for brands, what they're looking for in terms of influencers and content creators, they're looking for people with a large following count. In terms of capturing the value, though, it's quite difficult. It's challenging, especially in the social media front. I mean, we've all seen Elon Musk right now in terms of the Twitter bid war, and how he's taken steps backwards with regards to how many bots they actually have on social or on Twitter right now. They were saying that they had 5%, but if you look deeper, they were only taking a subset. Their pool that they were actually investigating was quite small. So really, what's the true number of bots that are on social? So with that said, capturing the value with social media is quite challenging, but there are certain factors that you can look into, and that's engagement rate. So total number of followers in comparison or as a ratio of total number of likes per post, and what's the average and what's the median of that. And with that, you can then tailor the compensation to be true, like the true value recompensated back to the creator themselves, trying to manage obviously potential bots from, so people don't manipulate the system effectively. But again, it's hard. It's hard to say. You have nano and micro influencers who have a quite larger engagement rate than a lot of these macro influencers. And so they do get paid less than these macro influencers just because of follower count, but they should, in a sense, not necessarily one-to-one, but be paid more per like than per like from a macro influencer. So, I mean, long story short, is it's challenging in terms of capturing the value. And like I said before, we're all trying to figure that out right now. And that's the beauty of Web3, is that we're all trying to figure out and pave the path. We're all going to hit some roadblocks, but it only creates the stage, creates a better stage and a better platform for us to continue to build on top of that and figure and iron out how we actually fairly compensate content creators online.
Okay, great. Lori, do you want to talk a little bit about the tokenomics within your metaverse?
Yeah, so we don't have a token. I actually have a really strong opinion on tokenomics with new startups. I'm going to briefly digress on that, but primarily I think that token economics at a really early startup is a cash grab. I think that the highest value startups are looking at an equity play where they're really focusing on strategic stakeholders, and then from there they have that roadmap in place, and then token economics sort of comes from that. And so we're equity based a startup. So as it relates to the creators that are involved in our community, so we're a Veblen good. What does Veblen mean? It means it's a good that is an aspirational product for individuals who are leveraging it from a status perspective. I think a metaverse product is definitely a desirable product to sort of, from an entertainment perspective, showcasing NFTs, creativity, connecting communities. But going back to the idea of like, where are the economics and where does value derive from a creator perspective? Now, we have several traditional tracks, right? We've got musicians, so there's access to a greater swath of audience members through a metaverse play. So you have the IRL, in real life performance, and then attaching that to a digital performance. So now you have a broader swath of audience that you can target, but also offer potentially more affordable access to your community, whether or not they're able to visit you in some European country or some very difficult to get location, as well as that being a gallery to showcase NFTs and really a place to really engage communities. And so the economics are really dependent on those nodes of individuals that are deciding that we need a metaverse strategy, and we're seeing a lot of that happening. So, for example, Accenture has an entire metaverse team and effort. So we're seeing this in enterprise in general. So there are roles that are specifically metaverse business strategists, specifically to support these companies get onboarded and decide on a metaverse strategy. So it's coming, it's out there, and there are enterprise consultants making it happen for a lot of these companies. So the economics is really dependent on the specific segment and use case. But
anybody want to comment on this, or have corollary, or any final word on economics before we sort of move to marketing distribution topics? Okay, let's go. So Bradley, do you want to talk about sort of getting noticed, or for some of the creators in your world, in terms of marketing and getting noticed and distribution and things you might add, or things that creators might do to break through?
Yeah, one thing I love about Web3 is it's kind of reimagining what success and also kind of influence kind of means in a number of ways. So you would think like, bringing on like Cameron Diaz or something would be the biggest thing for a project. But really, like, there's a lot of Web3 native creators doing really interesting things from the ground up, and like we're pretty excited to see that. So one thing we started doing is just actively measuring the market cap of like all the communities on Roll, which has been really interesting. And so you can see that there's like a total addressable market cap of all creators on Roll around like 61 million. The trading volume for all tokens on Roll across all exchanges is around $2 million daily. I guess I'm like crypto old enough to remember when OpenSea just started, and the numbers are kind of similar to what they were doing maybe like 2020. And so we're pretty close to kind of hitting this wave. So we'll kind of see more creators doing more things. But yeah, we're pretty excited when creators start to form markets, and that's something that people really want to spotlight, because when you have a market, it's kind of this new version of ownership. A lot of people think about it in a dystopian way. It's like, oh, do they own part of me, and do I have to do this thing? But it's about thinking about your community as a digital asset. So a lot of, I think some of the other panelists are talking about this idea that Web 2 kind of owns a lot of the value you create. YouTube may think of community as a channel, or Discord as a server, and we get to think of community as a digital asset, which is great. And you can kind of the more you're able to do that, the more Web3 features you're able to bring to a community. Is kind of like the best way to get noticed. So there's a record label on Roll called Leaving Records, an independent LA record label. I think it's the first record label in the world to have their own currency. And so if you're deep in that circle, you can kind of really get noticed and stand out in a big way, and kind of lead the future of the category. So for us, it's really about building market dynamics, and Roll's all about building products that can boost markets and do really great things there.
Awesome. In the we'll move to some last comments here, but before after the talk, if you could, I think you put all your contact information, but also where to follow you on Twitter. You can put it in the comment section afterwards. And if you want to stick around and ask questions, we'd love to have you do that. So final words, tips to anybody in the audience, either getting started or getting noticed. Krystal, why don't we start with you and close out with Lori?
In terms of getting started and getting noticed, with regards to Web3, I mean, getting started,
or working with Raiinmaker,
or working with Raiinmaker. I mean, just reach out. I mean, we're happy to partner with good projects who are, looking to tap into not just their community. In terms of our community, we have 150,000 members on Telegram currently. We're prominent in South America and in Africa, in particular right now with a partnership with Cardano. So if you're looking to tap into those markets, we're happy to try and strategize and come up with a plan with you. I would just say just reach out. It's all evolving and changing, and we're happy to work side by side to try to pave a new path forward.
Awesome. Lori, do you want to close this out here?
Yeah, so there are a few ways. Every Friday we have a metaverse event where we're connecting a lot of the community members and artists that we tap, and then we support by supporting new events for them, and advising them and being close with them as it relates to them and their evolution of their own personal metaverse strategy. We also are showcasing a lot of artists in our LA studio, so that we've got a metaverse recording studio where we get artists in and we highlight them into the metaverse live. So those are a few ways. And in addition to that, we're supporting different blockchain events in Los Angeles by expanding their what they're doing in real life into the metaverse. So we have different ways where we engage with folks.
Awesome. Great. So NFT OASIS for Lori, Raiinmaker with 2 eyes for Krystal, and Try Roll for Bradley. So if you guys want to stick around and anybody wants to ask some questions, they'll be here. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much for the time.
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you, Lori and Bradley. And thank you, Ken.
Thank you.